All right, so this is the December 14th, 2021 last Downtown Orlando UX of the year. So as we've done all through the pandemic with being remote this whole time, I just wanted to say, from all of us, we hope that you and your family are safe and well, and wish you all a happy holiday and happy New Year as well, because we won't be meeting again until January. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And as always, this meetup wouldn't be possible without a big cast of crew. We've got 6 co-organizers of the meetup. Abhishek Morali is not here. Leo Livingston had something going on tonight. We got Wes Brown, one of the co-organizers. I'm Jason Beard. I don't know where he's at in the Brady Bunch for you all, but the man with the mustache is Mr. Matt Lavoie. And then our newest co-organizer, Nick Clark, who joined the group a few months ago.
We also do have our gracious host this evening, Christian Radman, who is gracious enough to let us be here together while we're running this.
Mixing the remote and in-person event a little bit. Usually we do community announcements at the end of our meetups, but since this is kind of just a fun activity hangout, don't want to wait till the very end to do announcements. So I thought we'd go ahead and open it up for, does anybody know of any job opportunities or hiring, any meetups or events that are coming up in the next week, or anything else that you want to share that's going on in the UX community?
If nobody has any specific events, do please check out Design Orlando Slack. There's a jobs channel out there that there's a lot of good posts that are listed. So I encourage everyone to go out there and check it out. And if you see something that maybe would be interesting to a friend or a colleague, share that with them too.
Sounds good. And one more announcement. Like I mentioned before, for January, we already have the next event planned. Our speaker will be Michelle Morgan from Atlanta. She'll be talking about how to survive an epic failure. This is a screenshot of the meetup page. We'll post this after the meetup tonight is over. And so you'll be able to sign up. It'll be January, can't see from here, 18th is the date, the third Tuesday of the month as usual. So looking forward to gathering again in January. Because our speaker is in Atlanta, it will be another remote event. But as we were chatting about before we got started, we do hope to get back to in-person events as soon as we have a place that we can meet and it's safe to do so. So keeping in mind that we have a lot of people from Jacksonville and Warner Robins and other areas that are part of our community now. So we'll likely try to find a way to keep the events being a mix of in-person and remote, even if we do go back to meeting in person, kind of like we're doing tonight. So with that, our mission, as it has been for many years now, is to create opportunities for anyone to learn and share knowledge about the field of user experience. Everyone from all skill levels are welcome here, and everyone from students to long-term professionals in the industry. It's a community for everybody that's interested in the field of UX and wants to share or learn about it. And with that, we'll kick off the 4th year?
I think it's the 4th year, yes.
4th annual presentation karaoke event. Matt, do you want me to continue sharing, and then I'll let you be the guinea pig for the first round?
Wait, say again?
I said I'm gonna share my screen here again, and I'll keep it on my screen. Full screen this real quick.
Yeah, I know it was iffy if I was even going to be here. So if you prepared something, by all means, but I don't mind taking it off if.
It's a rough starting topic, to be honest, Matt. I mean, none of us know anything about video calls. I don't know where in the world you would come up with a presentation.
Do you want to roll the dice or propose a topic?
Well, maybe beforehand, give us a little
Yeah, well,
Yeah. So I'll do a quick little intro to presentation karaoke. I guess maybe if you can use the React hand. I think most folks here haven't joined us for presentation karaoke before, but has anybody ever done anything like this before? Besides the co-organizers. So one of the things that's such an important skill for UX designers, and honestly anybody who's in tech or ever needs to present, like in business in general, is the ability to think on your feet, to not lose your cool when you're in the middle of presenting, especially when something unexpected or surprising happens, and have that little bit of improvisation. I think it's so important to like develop and refine that skills, not only for like pure UX things like research, right? Like you're conducting user research or you're doing a think aloud study and the user does something totally unexpected and throws you off. Being able to kind of think on your feet is really, really helpful. But also when you're presenting to stakeholders and the CEO asks that like totally out of the blue question that you were not expecting, that kind of throws the whole project on its head, being able to like stay in the rhythm, think through it, and just keep talking, keep working through kind of how to keep that conversation flowing, is a really good skill to have. And so presentation karaoke is a great way to actually develop that skill. So that's sort of the premise around why we started doing this. And it's been so fun that we've decided to make it our annual December tradition. So yeah, as was mentioned earlier, I think this is the 4th year we've done this. But essentially what it is, for anybody who's not done it before, is you'll get 5 random slides. Each slide, I think it has like 20 seconds that you have on each slide. It'll automatically transition. And you can pick either the topic that's suggested, you can roll the dice and get other topic suggestions. You can decide to go with your own suggestion. We're pretty loose on the rules there, but we try to have a bunch of topics around UX specifically in here. And I think one of the most beautiful things that can happen with presentation karaoke is sometimes you get a topic and like some serendipity happens where you think about that topic in a way that you wouldn't have thought about presenting it based on the image, the prompt that you get in the slide deck. So that can be a really cool thing that happens. Other times you can totally crash and burn, which is probably what's going to happen to me right now here up first. But it's a fun time either way. So I hope everybody present at least tries it out once and jumps in and gives it a go. It's definitely a fun time, and no one here is going to give anybody a hard time for crashing and burning, because we all probably will a little bit. So with that, I'll kind of demonstrate the first round. Should I take video calls as a suggestion, or should we roll the dice and see if we get a more UX related topic? What do y'all think?
Either video calls or Care Bears.
Roll the dice. You've had too much time to prepare mentally for a video.
Okay, roll the dice. 5 keys to success. All right. Sure. I don't know what I'm going to do for this, but let's try.
all right, 3, 2, 1, go. I
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Lavoie, and I'm here to talk to you about the 5 keys to success. Now, you may think that out of all of the things in the world, having a vague topic like 5 keys to success to what? Well, success to life, success to work, success to family, success to love, success to fun. There are 5 keys that apply to all of these. And one of the first ones you may have mentioned on that previous slide is people. Keep valuable people around you. And I'm not talking about value as in currency, as you may be misled to think with this image here. I'm talking about value as in substance. Keep people around you that are going to challenge you, to make you think about the way that you approach life, that maybe make you reconsider, to sit and think, to deeply dive in. The second key to success is to contemplate, to be contemplative, to listen to music, to broaden your horizons, to allow yourself to experience the world in ways you never imagined you might before. The third key to success is legacy. And you might think, how do I leave a legacy? because everything in this earth is temporary, but you're only gone so long as the last person remembers you. And so leaving that legacy by having a good positive impact on all of the other people around you and keeping them in, in that place. So what does it all mean? You might think, Matt, you only said 3 keys to success, not 5. Well, the other 2,
The third one wasn't closer.
the other 2 are you and yourself, because you can make it happen. You just need to be inspired, contemplate, and leave a legacy. Thank you. That was awful.
Way to go, Matt.
Okay.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
on
Thank
the
you all for
upside,
enjoying.
it sounded like you were doing a bit like on Stephen Colbert, so it all worked. Like it was a planned bit, so it worked out really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit of Stephen Colbert, a little bit of Jack Handy.
And I that's one of the tricks with this is just to keep rolling, to not get thrown off too much. I mean, it's definitely a skill to be like surprised and then like, keep cruising. And sometimes it's okay to just break, Anywho, that was my presentation on the 5 keys of success. I'm not actually sure if I got to 5 things, but it's all good. All right, well, with that, let's open it up. We'll do a couple of rounds, and then usually what we do is we take a moment to like retro what we think about these. So kind of keep in mind as you see people doing presentations, what you like about them, what you think maybe are different ways to approach things. And we can do a couple of these and then kind of talk about it and then do a couple more. So I guess with that, I'll hand it back over to our host, Jason, over there to kind of facilitate who wants to jump in next.
Now let's get another person that is not an organizer. So not this Zoom window, another Zoom window. Is anybody else up for giving it a go? So you're thinking about Kelly, Ryan too. Who's gonna raise their hand first?
Stacy's looking right at us. I can tell she wants to do it.
Oh man, I wish I could. I'm actually in the middle of cooking right now, but enjoying listening to you guys.
All right, I'll go, but it's not going to be good.
It'll be amazing.
Yep.
All right, and I am not good in any UX category, so just let's roll the dice.
Okay. You can also pick a topic. If
Yeah, you
there's
can pick
something,
a name.
anything.
I do
you
not
want
have
to
any
talk about.
topic. I'm not prepared in any way. Let's do it.
Documentation. You want to roll?
Oh,
it?
great. All right,
Talk
let's
about
do it.
He's in.
All right, we're gonna talk about documentation.
All right, hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Harrigan. I'm talking to you about documentation. We all dread documentation. It almost feels like it's the worst thing you can do. It's the last thing you want to do. And whenever it comes around, you have to do it. So let's dive into what documentation can be. It's a lot like what this thing is. You don't know what it is. It has to come up, comes up on you. But you also know that you're somewhere swimming in the ocean. You kind of need to go one direction. So
Yes.
what do? You kind of have to just dive in, find yourself, and
Solid placement.
yeah, so you make a topic, start writing on it. Yeah, I'm lost.
You're doing great. Just keep rolling.
All right,
Find Zen.
sure. All right, well, helps everyone else. So even though it is the worst thing in the world, as long as you throw it on a piece of paper, someone can see it and make sense of whatever the hell that they're looking at, and any sort of context will make everything else irrelevant. All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, that was hard.
Fantastic.
You did awesome.
Good job, man.
Yes.
That was great.
Way to go. Matt made it look easy.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I've done this 4 years in a row, so
You can have a really good one, and then you can have a really bad one right after that. Like it's kind of a luck of the draw in terms of what you end
it's
up
You
totally.
did great. I love the diving in and
one direction you can go.
swimming in the ocean.
There's some good images in there. That's the fun part with this. You never know what's, suddenly you just get a random frog that shows up and just throws you. You never know.
All right.
Let's see if anyone else out here wants to go.
I'll also say, while people think, like, I don't know, Ryan, I think you did great. So it might be like kind of a bummer to get that, like, you get stuck and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. But like, one of the only ways to get good at getting through that is to like have it happen. And so well done. And yeah, fantastic work.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, when you get thrown by an image in this that doesn't matter, but like the number of times I've had people like throw like low-level insults out in meetings or something, right? And like just like have these like weird things pop up where you like have to like avoid like scowling and still be able to like complete the like move on to a different sort of topic or shift the entire thing around. Like it's a reaction, but this is sort of, but yeah, you did a great job with it. It's fun.
Or even like demoing a product that crashes.
Yeah,
It's like,
talking through a crash for like 5 minutes while you reset everything.
this is a good topic. This is a good UX topic.
I'll go. I didn't know the other one was getting started in UX. I didn't realize that was a topic, or else I still would have done that. But I'll do this
Do it
one.
if you want.
Getting started in UX.
You can do
I feel like-
UX.
Can I? Oh no, that's fine. I'll just do this one. I'll surprise myself.
Okay.
All right. Well, how many slides are there?
5.
Okay.
I think Matt said it's like 20 seconds each.
Okay.
There's a little progress bar at the bottom of the window, if you notice.
Yeah.
You kind of know when the end of the slide's coming up.
I saw that. Okay.
You ready, Kelly?
Yep. Go ahead.
Here we go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly, and today we're going to be talking about different tools you can use in your UX process, like Figma, Sketch, Etcher, and Adobe XD. Some of you may think that the tools are everything, like 80% of your blood, but they're actually not. It's not important to know every tool and to always learn about it all. It doesn't have to be as complicated as these hairstyles, makeup looks, or even the skills that these guys have on the guitar. It could be relatively simple to pick up a tool if you haven't used it before. Yes. So in the future, you might even have to use tools like Figma or Adobe XD because our computers might actually do the work for us. You won't actually have to learn how to use auto animate or the align features anymore. And yeah, it's if you want to learn the tools, it's as easy as learning how to walk. Yeah. But don't worry. If a baby can do it, you can do it. So that's all I got to say about that. And that is exactly how I feel after giving this presentation. So thank you all for listening. I hope that was 5 slides because I wasn't counting. Yeah, thank you. That was really hard. That was so hard.
I don't know where Matt got all these images from. But
Yeah.
That was
I got
really
them out of the
funny.
GitHub repository. I thought I deleted that one.
I feel like I got pranked. Like I feel like Ryan's and Matt's was way easier than that.
I mean, I am at that point in my life where I walk into friends' houses and sometimes get confronted by random baby butts. So I feel like
That image could have worked with video events too, because like pants free Friday, no one knows, right?
That was good.
So we want to think about measuring outcomes in our academic topic.
Jason keeps looking at me.
I'll measure some
Let's
outcomes.
get to it.
I'll measure some outcomes if you would like.
All right, Christian's gonna go.
All right, let's give it a shot.
All right. Ready?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
let's bring it.
Are you gonna stand up?
I might. It might happen. All right, so the best thing with measuring outcomes is you have to focus on health and well-being throughout this. You need to focus on the details of the numbers and make sure that you're getting the right set of data organized from the beginning. Now, as we go into the next phase of measuring outcomes, we have to understand that fundamentally it's all about the red, green, and blue charts because people love stoplights. No matter what anybody says, the best UX design is red, yellow, and green charts. Forget about people with color blindness. Forget about like good design. Focus on red, yellow, and green. And that will make people really happy. Just like you gave them a fresh out of the oven chocolate chip cookie. Because the only thing that would make their chocolate chip cookie better is if it was red, yellow, and green chocolate chips. But that takes too much effort with M&Ms because you just gotta pick out other colors. It gets annoying. So just remember, if you want people to be happy, you can either give them cookies or let them do a puzzle with their grandmother. Those are your two options. You don't have other options. So you need to focus on making sure that people have the charts they need for measuring outcomes, because the last time I checked, the best source of solid data was going to your grandmother and asking her. And that is how I learned the best way to stop large objects from falling on people's heads. I talked to my grandmother and she told me, you give them a cookie and you provide them with solid engineering data and maybe a couple ropes. So thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Really energy, yeah. Way to tie every slide back again.
To the other ones, that's right.
Even
You
though
say what you're gonna
all of the
say.
nonsense.
You tell them what you needed to say, and then you say what you just said over and over and over again until they think it was their idea that they did it.
If you say it with confidence, people don't care that you're not even talking about the topic anymore.
Great job, Christian.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Well done, well done. This is actually a really cool topic. What UX will look like in 100 years.
That is interesting. Especially if it's nothing but 1800s images.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody already, Kelly touched on this with the computers and the computing power, and will we even design anymore?
Anybody interested in taking this one or taking a spin?
I haven't called Dina's name yet. Dina, what do you think?
You calling me out? I guess I could try it.
All right. Awesome. Yeah.
Do you want to take a shot at what UX will look like in 100 years, or do you want to roll the dice?
You pick.
Let's go with this one.
Okay.
I don't know what to think about it. Ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dina, and I'm here to talk to you about what UX will look like in 100 years. So I know you might think, wow, what could that possibly look like? Because if you think about what it looks like today and how you could think, wow, China is becoming the largest English-speaking country in the world. How could UX possibly evolve more than it already does? Well, let me tell you, put on your superhero cape and you're going to be the most superhero of the world in 100 years, because you are going to evolutionize UX with the amount of tools that we're going to have by that time and the amount of technology that's out. The opportunities will be endless. So you may think, is it going to be as easy as catching a mouse with a rope or a piece of cheese? Maybe it will be. The way technology is and how it's going to be, you'll be able to do UX on flying cars and computers, just like Iron Man had, where they just pop up in the middle of the air. And it's going to be a long road to get there. But I'll tell you what, it may be a long road, it may be a quiet road, but once you get there, the opportunities are going to be amazing for you, what you can UX and what we can do with those tools and that technology. So I'll tell you, fasten your seatbelts because you're ready for a long ride and a fun ride. And you know what? The great thing is you don't even have to wear pants to do it. I'm sure a lot of you aren't wearing pants right now, probably because I can see you from, here up. So go ahead, take your pants off, enjoy the ride, learn everything you can about what UX is going to be like, because it's going to be fun, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be enjoyable. So thank you, everybody.
You're gonna handle that curveball in.
Yeah, Matt, I'm noticing a theme with the no pants thing. I don't know what this means.
Hey, like I said, I got this out of a GitHub repository.
What GitHub are you browsing, Mr. Lavoie? I think we
I
did.
feel like we already covered this topic.
Well, Figma already, yeah, the Figma, etc.
I know all about that topic.
West man, this seems like a West topic.
I'll give it a shot.
Seems like a West topic. All right, you can talk about we are West. Sure. There you go.
All right, let's think back to the days when we had black and white photography. That was the only way we could envision the world. But then computers came arise and we started revolutionizing the way we would look at the way we would experience the world. Now what we can do is we can paint a picture of what our reality is anywhere. You can see people drinking from wine glasses obscurely or maybe uniquely. There are other ways that you can experience virtual reality just by consuming alcohol. You never know what the outcome could be if you have enough drinks. It might feel like virtual reality, could be augmented reality, which she's likely to experience. Another example is maybe being influenced and texting or calling friends, old loved ones, you never know. But virtual reality allows you to connect with them in other ways besides using your phone. And just by a click of an avatar, they won't even know who you are. So it gives you an opportunity to really put that hat on and expose your inner self in a way that no one else has ever been able to see or understand. It would be enlightening to you and your friends, would give you an opportunity to really be yourself in a world where who are you and you're trying to figure it out. Not sure what's next. And you know, they do have rooms that are in the virtual reality space that are really focused around certain age groups or maybe demographics. So it's there for anyone and everyone. Who knows? Someday there might be loofahs just for people in VR. That's an inside joke, I think. So, all right. Thanks. Thank you very much, and that's it. The loofahs joke is about the villages. If you Google that, it'll bring up some interesting results.
That sounds like something I shouldn't Google.
No, don't Google it at work.
I'm not Googling it anyway.
Okay. Oh, accessibility. That's a good one too. All right, who's next? We have to skip Jason. I can't let him go yet. We've skipped one person. So who's next? Chanel, Jessica, Anna, you can still go. You can still go. It's okay. You can choose a
Big
different
time
topic.
bomb. He'll interrupt at any moment. I promise
That
you.
will probably, that can't hurt it. I don't,
Right.
like, you just gotta play off it. I mean, how many times in meetings has somebody started crying? It happens pretty frequently.
I can dive in and do this. I know something about this topic.
All right, let's do
And I
it.
had to lead a presentation that I bombed well, things kept bombing out halfway through, so I should probably have good practice. Just yesterday.
This event is closed captioned, by the way. So.
Oh, great.
Make sure to turn that setting on Zoom tonight.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, Jessica?
Yep.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. All right, so now we're going to talk about accessibility, which, like this brain here, can sorry, if your brain is small, you need more accessible content. Sorry. Accessibility is a way, but very much like this slide is saying, accessibility is a problem in your design you may not be aware of. Don't panic. There are many solutions out there. Sometimes there's too many solutions for accessibility. The regulations are often unclear. There seem to be many code issues in the background that have nothing to do with the user experience. However, you need to meet them or not. It's not about, sometimes it's about what's going on in the code behind the screen instead of what's happening on the screen. And those code checks do hate you. But the problem is you don't want to be made famous in a court of law, whether your backend code is not compliant, even though it doesn't affect the user. So it's the constant balancing act you have to do between making sure your code is compliant versus your what we would call a manual check, which is an actual person with a disability is having a good user experience on your site, whether the code is good or not. And when you fail that code check, it can feel like Santa Claus just died. Your wonderful project that you put so much work into could get you sued. And it's something to always keep in mind because no one wants to put in that much hard work only to fail. And if you say, as a couple of years ago, we found out, many cases went to court and many companies' money were taken. You don't want anyone to take you don't want to lose your company money at any time, but especially through inaccessible design. I started out offending everybody, but I think I brought it back around.
Very good. Great job.
That was awesome.
I don't know, as we've been going through this, if now might be a good time to pause and reflect on presentations. Anybody have any like highlights that they'd like to call out?
Well, I did want to ask something.
Sure.
Because I was just curious, because I was thinking about your explanation about why this is a valuable idea. And I was like, yeah, because this does happen when you've got everything planned out, you practiced, you have everything, and something blows up in your face. And normally the way I handle that is to call out the fact that it's blowing up in my face, and then you just sort of talk yourself through it. But here it seemed like we were trying to tailor it like we meant to do that. So I was wondering if there's two different styles to do this. Like you do a presentation about accessibility, and then you go, oh, and you put the wrong slide in here, and apparently somebody's is that a way to do this?
I think totally. I think there have been a few times where people have, cracked and had kind of a moment of laughter. And I think that hasn't made anybody's presentation karaoke worse.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
I mean, I definitely don't think the goal in a real life situation, right, is to like just make stupid stuff up about, and drive it out. But at the same time, like, there is the thing where like you have to keep loose and keep people somewhat entertained and like engage with it, like laugh at yourself a little bit, right? Like take it. So, if you have something where, login's not working or slides are wrong or like something's off and you got to take a couple minutes to like get reorganized and make sure that stuff's set, like the more on your feet you can be and like sort of driving and owning that. So it's not about, this is a little bit more about dishonesty and joking, but like you're in reality, you're going to be focused more on like owning it and like laughing about it and laughing with other people and keeping people engaged. And so for me, like, my cousin has this thing that she told me a couple of years ago. I went to her wedding a few years ago and I hadn't seen her in years. And one of the first things she told me was that she remembered that when I was a kid, I convinced her that water wasn't real. I decided that at some Easter, I was gonna, and because I did have a thing when I was a kid, I could answer any question to make somebody, to tie it back that the answer was 3. Any question, I could find a way to tie it back to 3. And I feel like that, so like, I don't remember the water thing, but I believe her when she says that I did it, because I would make up these like convoluted stories that describe like how, like try to look for like weird connections to like link things together. And that doesn't apply to a normal presentation style that I have, but it carries into this type of thing where it's about like, how do you like make connections to things and like try to find a correlation between sort of whatever happens to be there and driving out sort of how people are thinking about something or connect it back to something that people were talking about before.
Yeah, I think, obviously in an actual presentation, you don't just want to be making up things, but also in an actual presentation, you're probably, very much more, intimate with the subject matter and ready to be able to like think on your feet and tie things back in. But yeah, it's that like not getting too thrown off and being able to kind of keep that ball rolling, I think is a pretty challenging skill to develop, but a really good skill to develop.
I think another interesting thing that I didn't really think about until just now, as we're talking about it, is, some people put like word diarrhea on slides, right? Like there's just hundreds of words on a slide, and here we don't have the words, and when there are words, they may not even directly apply to what our topic is. So it's communicating like a visual element can be useful, but it's not the core to what you need to have on your deck. It's about the thing you're trying to say. And I think that I didn't really think about that until we're sitting here talking about it, but it's like, I try not to put too many words on my slides, but I like to have it tie back to something that is the topic,
I agree with you there. I was always taught to not put a lot of words on slides, and it's because people will read your slide and they're not going to hear what you say. And also people hate when you just read your slides because obviously they can see it. So it's actually better to have just a maybe like one sentence at most, or even just images too, and then speaking to it. That really that really helps the people stay more engaged. And another thing too, I've never, like, if there was a wrong slide in there or something like that, people don't know. You're the one that prepared the presentation, so by calling out if something's wrong, they didn't know something's wrong. Usually those types of things, I just kind of, you just have to keep to smooth it over and act like it was supposed to be there. And half the time, like I've messed up before in presentations, and I asked people and they're like, I had no idea that was wrong, or that was the wrong slide or whatever. So nobody knows.
That's a great point, Dina. That's a great point, because I said I was doing presentation last night, and we had clearly things that screwed up. Like, we were sending people into Zoom rooms and they came back 3 minutes later after we told them they had 10 minutes. And so I was like, surprise, clearly we didn't know what we were doing, you know, and just sort of made a joke. But you're right. I mean, I guess that is a judgment call, and you have to think on your feet, right? Would people figure out that this is a screw up, or wow, great point.
Yeah, they don't know that. Maybe they thought, oh, maybe it was supposed to be 3 minutes, or you can, bring them back, and it's like improv kind of thing. Like, oh, well, I just want to check in on you. Is everyone good? Okay, go back.
We totally should have done that.
It's all, yeah, it's really hard to do that. You just improv, make it not look like it's a mistake. Although there's maybe you can give me some advice on this one. There's some cases where it's a very obvious mistake. I was user testing a user, and I sent them the Figma link, and it was taking very long to load. And I mean very long, as in 10 minutes. I tried resending it for 10 minutes and it still would never load. I eventually had to end up sharing my screen. But what do you do in that time when it's like, clearly this is wrong and the user knows it's wrong, but just to keep them engaged and keep them, have a positive session.
In user research moments like that, where like, okay, we're waiting on something to be addressed, or like I've even had times where like a dev was making a code change in the back end while we were like in the middle of an interview. And usually I'll just switch into like interview mode, like, okay, let's dive into a topic related to the product or related to the task at hand. And like, well, tell me a story about the last time you tried to do this, or, dig into something, I guess, unless you've already done that in the session, maybe it's getting a little bit long, but yeah, usually I'll try to just kind of fill that time with actually doing other research that could just be ancillary.
Or you say, so tell me what you thought about that experience we just had.
What do you think about this 10-minute wait? I always think, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No. I realized that you probably had something better to say than I did, so I shut up.
The tell me a story about fill in the blank is like one of my favorite research questions. I was like, instead of just being like, walk me through what you did, like, tell me a story about the last time you did this, because you get surprising things, because like there's weird details people will bring up when they're thinking about a specific instance rather than like the general. It's like, well, tell me a story about how tell me what you do when you brush your teeth is going to get a different response than, tell me a story about what happened when you brushed your teeth yesterday morning. Like, there are different moments. Anyways, sorry, Jessica, I don't know what you were.
No, yours was much better. I was just going to say, for some reason, my default when I get that deer in the headlights is I say, let's turn this into a teaching opportunity, which would not work for you, Tina. But that worked a few times because we had some students on the call, and I said something like, let's turn this into a teaching opportunity. Sometimes this happens when you're working with technology and you may not be aware, and blah, 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 blah. But that tends to be what I default to, even if it's not appropriate when I freak out, but that's not appropriate to the situation.
Well, who knows? Someone may remember that moment when it happens to them and go, I'm not alone, right? Like, and that's really a great thing.
I was gonna say, I kind of agree with what we were talking about before. I think it's fun to put like a funny photo on the slide. It like really keeps you engaged. Like I don't want to see words. I don't want to see a graph. I want to see something funny, and then I'm gonna wait and see like how you tie that into what you're talking about. So I think that's a good idea. I kind of got that from this. So yeah. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, go Knights. You're gonna find a UCF slide somewhere in my deck whenever I'm at work. So
Yeah.
my deck or my background. It's like, oh, that's what the score was, huh, Wes? Great.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good takeaway from this is that like you can surprise people with slide decks. Like something can come up on the slides that people were not expecting to see, and it can be like a little funny moment, and that can keep people engaged. So yeah, I don't know. That's not something that I like, not a tactic I've used in presentations, but maybe something that's worth keeping in the back pocket.
No, I can give another example of like where this, like being able to like think about this type of stuff has helped me recently. So I recently talked to a class about work projects, so school kids, and there was a pre-built deck of slides that I slightly modified. Like I added a few pictures, but there was like one slide with some text, which I did not read. I just kind of overviewed. And then the rest of it was just straight photos of like projects and mission timelines and like orbital layouts and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was talking to like middle school to high school age kids. And so like I looked through them, like it wasn't out of the blue. Like I wasn't surprised by any slides. I reorganized them, I prepped them, I sort of looked through them and tried to figure it out. But what I was trying to do was tell them a story about this mission objective. And partway through, like I had them ask some questions. And then as I'm going through the later slides, I'm like tying their questions back into other ones, right? And highlighting like this person asked me a question about like, you know, where Mars would be in orientation to Earth. So I'm going to answer this question and call that person back out and figure out how it all sort of relates. And those kind of things, like it's helpful when you are doing looser presentations where you can take the context of the meeting into it and then be able to respond appropriately.
Do you usually respond to your team as a bunch of middle schoolers? Is that no, just kidding. Matt works.
Well, before we're out of time today, does anybody else wanna either go for the first time or do another round?
It's been a great collaborative exercise. I can talk about collaboration. It's guaranteed to be bad. Take a round.
All right, Jason's going for
Woo! All right, here we go. The topic that I'm going to talk to you guys about is collaboration. And when we're talking about working together, we're talking about different spheres of influence and control and concern. And you know, depending on the project that you're working on, you may want to fall into one of these regions of this chart. And the reason for that is that when you're collaborating, you got to choose the right tools for collaboration. So, you know, Zoom might be the best tool for collaboration one day. Miro might be the next, you know, best tool for collaboration for a different situation. It all depends on context. And, you know, when you're trying to choose that next right tool, you got to think back to the different spheres of influence that we talked about before. And it depends on where you want to go with it. You know, if you're taking international flights, then you're going to want to collaborate, you know, internationally. Sometimes you just got to get on the plane and work together to get it off the ground. And that's what we're doing with collaboration, is trying to get the plane to fly. And it ends up all coming together in a, I don't even know what this is called exactly, but a fractal kind of way, where the pieces build on each other. You know, there's different spheres of influence, and the tools that you're using end up creating something that's, you know, bigger than yourself and bigger than your team. And that's what collaboration is all about. And that's what, you know, causes your team to be happy, is when, you know, you're working together, designers, developers, product partners, all working together to build a great product, like the image I showed you before, where it's all connected together and stacked on top of each other, and you know, you can really take off and fly.
Very nice, very nice. The sphere of influence.
dartboard influence.
Yeah.
That was not my worst one of these. That's a bad one.
That's
That's
good.
good.
That's good.
I guess since I'm the only one that hasn't gone, I'll give it a go.
Hey, I think this will be a record that everybody presents.
I
You'll
don't
love
think we've
it.
never had everybody present
Yeah.
in a meeting before. So what do you think, Chanel? Do you
All
want to
right.
storytelling or do you want to roll the dice?
I will go for storytelling. Sorry for the horrible lighting setup and camera angle, guys.
Works great.
No, it's great. It's great to see you.
Okay, you ready?
No, yeah.
10 more seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, guys. Today I'm going to talk to you about storytelling because we're all for one for all to learn about storytelling. So let's get cozy and jump in like these cats here. And we're going to talk about how to get better at storytelling. We're all learning that here tonight. We're putting it into practice. So I'm going to share some tips that are hopefully going to help you guys get better at it. So storytelling can bring up a lot of emotions, right? If it's a good story, well, actually, you might look like the guy in the bottom middle here. But if it's a terrible story, you might look like the lady at the top right or top left. Like, what's going on here? What's happening? So let's get to some tips to get better at our storytelling, right? So we don't look unhappy. Sometimes when you're telling a story, you're speeding through it. It's really fast. You're going too fast. You're trying to get to the end point, kind of like I am right now. What you want to do is you want to take a breath. You want to slow down so you don't catch on fire like this car right here, because we're going to enjoy the story together. We're going to take our time. So that's tip number 1, slow down. Tip number 2, sometimes people may be like, hey, why are you bothering to tell me this story? And it may feel like you got smacked in the face with a ball like this. That's okay. Persevere. Keep going with the story. Stick with it. That's tip number 2. Persevere. Keep going with the story, even if it feels like no one wants to hear the story you're telling. So tip number 1, slow down. Tip number 2, persevere. And tip number 3, chew like your life depends upon it. You eat the whole bit like the beaver here. That ties back into tip number 2, which is to persevere. This is a huge tree. This beaver took it on. Your storytelling may feel like a huge tree. You keep going and take it on. Thank you.
Chanel got done in by the beaver.
Going pretty well until that dang beaver.
Well, it was interesting because that it was the point you had just made. That was all I could think of. I was like, that would have been the slide for the thing. Great job.
Thank you.
That was fantastic.
Thanks.
So I don't know if Anna, are you still with us?
I am still with you.
Oh.
Multitasking, trying to fly under the radar. I came to be a
Yeah,
voyeur.
almost. If you want to give it a shot, we're okay.
I also have a 4-month-old, so if you're just on baby duty, that is okay as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay on baby duty. Sorry, y'all. This has been fun. I wanted to see what it was about. So
It's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. No pressure. No pressure.
I'm gonna ruin the 100% participation.
No. Anthony
joined.
I think Anthony just joined.
He's gotten like 0 context for what we're doing here.
Way to throw somebody in the bus.
I'm just gonna observe a little bit.
I can't remember if you were part of the group last year. If you did presentation karaoke before, or if this is your first time doing this.
First time, totally first time.
All right, where are you coming to us from, Anthony?
Oh, Orlando, Florida, right by downtown.
All right, awesome.
You came to the red light.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we have all drawn straws. We drew numbers before you arrived. And we all took our turns, and now it's your turn. We can describe what we're doing. We didn't actually draw numbers, so if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But what we do is we put up some slides. You have 5 slides that run through, how long is it, Matt?
20 seconds.
20 seconds, I guess. And you just talk to the topic, and you can choose your own topic, choose the topic on the screen, or we can randomize a new topic for you if you'd like to try it.
One more, how long do I have to talk for again?
It works out about a minute and a half, probably.
Yeah, I think it's a minute and a half, and there's a little bar at the bottom of the image that's showing you progress for that slide. And when the bar fills up, it switches to the next slide. You've got 5 of them. And so the idea is, what we've been talking about is how a lot of times in meetings or in presentations, you've got to kind of ad lib and
True.
fill the air in between things. And so it's good practice for UX professionals, or really for anyone in product or dev, or you have to talk to stakeholders and in meetings or present, to be able to, in this case, just make things up.
Yes.
Topic.
I mean, I do that every day at work.
Does anybody want to take a second round? So if Anthony does want to go, he's not jumping in blind.
Yeah, let him learn the methods. Ryan, you want to give it another shot?
Yeah, I'm willing to do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Give me a random topic.
Cool.
All right, love the hat, by the way.
Yeah, Orlando hat. Love it.
Service Savarias. You want to try another one?
This is an obscure research method, so you may not know what service
Yes,
are.
please. Let's do another random topic. User flow diagrams. All right, let's do it. I'm not a UX person, by the way, for everyone. Let's do it. Let's go for it.
All right,
You're playing one on TV.
all right, here we go.
Literally.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Harrigan. I'm talking to you about user flow diagrams. Everyone needs to flow somewhere. Usually users need to go from, need to take the easiest path, right? Where we have water taking whatever path it wants to go. That's what we want to do. That's the happy path. But what about the hard paths? You see, the most interesting man in the world here always takes the hardest path. That's why he really kind of carves some trails and makes everything interesting, right? So to us who are trying to build applications, we need to take heed of those interesting paths as well. So what if you're just given some random, you throw a user into some application, right? They're going to make every possibility imaginable with your thing, and you're not going to know what the hell is going on. So when you ask, hey user, please do this thing, users are pretty much going to do the opposite. So what happens when that happens? What happens when when the opposite happens? Well, this is what happens in production. This is what happens in presentations. You know what it is. I don't know what it is, but we still got to make the user go from here to there. So,
Wow. Oh.
well, I guess you can make amends with dangers in user flow diagrams. You could somehow make sense of it, whatever, like humans meeting dinosaurs, right? It doesn't make sense, but somehow you put it together and make it happen. Thank you.
I got 2 Triceratops in a row.
Yeah. So that's what it's about, Anthony.
It was Jurassic Park up in here.
That was awesome.
Then you got to start off with like water flowing for user flow.
Yeah, that was awesome. And making sense of it was cool, because I was thinking of that as you said it. Like, yeah.
Certainly better the second time around.
More practice, the better.
Want to give it a shot, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm open to doing it. I'm just like, I'm not sure what topic to even go with.
You can choose any topic you like, or you can roll the dice, and we've got like a long list of random UX topics in the randomizer here that you can get served one, or you can just pick a topic you're familiar with and roll with whatever slides come up.
Let me see. Am I gonna come up with my own topic? I'm just gonna go to that topic from a meeting we had earlier today. Choosing your design tool, because you know every company has their design tool of choice: Figma, Sketch, Adobe XD. So I'm just gonna go with choosing your design tool. That's random.
Perfect. That's actually one of the topics that's in the list that we got earlier.
Oh my God.
Looking forward to hearing you take on anything.
Okay, so
ready?
yes, why not?
All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1. Okay, so oh my God. So every single designer has to start somewhere. Some designers start experienced and fully developed with all of their flesh and with everything they need to be successful, while other designers have to start from the ground up, from the skeleton, and rise from the grave in order to be successful, regardless of what company they're at. Some start at small companies, others start at enterprise level companies, and they have to work in these enterprise level environments, in cubicles next to a wide range of different people, while working jointly and separately in order to create the best possible, the most user-friendly product that meets both the customer's needs, the business's needs, in order to make sure that the stock price does not plummet into the floor. At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody in the company says, the goal is always to make a profit. The goal is to make sure the stock price and our shareholders are absolutely as happy as possible. Because when the shareholders are happy, the employees are happy, because everybody gets a juicy, fat Christmas bonus. Because at the end of the day, we all have a dream to be happy, a dream to be successful, a dream to make our kids happy, and just keep going to have the best possible life at the end of the day. While we're here doing that to make sure our dreams are fulfilled, we always have to do whatever we can to stay energized, no matter whether it's early in the morning, it's midday, and 5 in the afternoon, and there's nothing you can reach for and grab for better than a delicious, absolutely phenomenal, delicious cup of coffee. You got Starbucks, you got Dunkin', you got Foxtail coffee, but at the end of the day, regardless of which one you choose, it's all gonna get you where you want to go. Thank you.
I like how you slowed it down there a bit at the end with adjectives. Like, I feel like we didn't really see a whole lot of that in the previous presentations, but like the delicious, and like you intentionally slowed the pace down a bit at the end, which is interesting to see.
Thank you for putting me on the spot. That was fun.
Thanks for jumping in.
No problem.
Well, it's 8:40. We usually save some time at the end for announcements. We did those at the beginning this time, so we don't really have any other slides or anything. Any other kind of thoughts from the last few presentations?
Maybe before we wrap, we give Matt, who opened, an opportunity to close with one. What do you think, Matt? You do one, and then we'll do some wrap up.
Yeah, I'll go again. Do y'all want me to talk human-centered design or something else? You all pick the topic.
Sandwich alignment chart.
No, I cannot do that justice.
Has to be
Selena's the
planned.
only one who can talk. Sandwich alignment.
Let's just choose another topic.
Yeah, I can do service safaris if you want, Anna.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt? Service safaris.
Service safaris. All right, I will talk service safaris.
Service safaris it is.
All right.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about service safaris, which is a research method that can be very beneficial when you're starting at 0 and you want to get to 60 as fast as possible. Forget about 60. Let's go to 100. Let's go to 120. Let's go to 140. The way that we're going to do that is to experience the user's experience ourselves as researchers. Your user may be sitting on an old computer. They may not have the high-tech office equipment that you probably don't have either, actually. But we have very different experiences than our customers have. Sure, we might have, the latest and greatest iPhone, and your customer may be on a 7 or maybe on an Android device. And so it's really important to jump in when you're new to a new product or service with a service safari where you can experience those 3 points of experience personally yourself. How the customer experiences it personally, how they interact with your company personally, and how they're able to achieve their end goals. So by going on a service safari, it's like sipping a fine whiskey, where the more you taste, the more you experience, the more notes that you'll find. And again, as I mentioned, when you're new to a company, it's really good to jump in and experience that firsthand. And you can see those notes unfold. Take notes on the experience that you're having, and then you can have that backlog of thoughts to bring to your team as a colleague, as a coworker. You can talk about how you went through and filed a customer support ticket and how it was confusing or frustrating or spectacular. And very soon, you and the rest of your colleagues are going to be singing together. And with that, I think that will wrap my presentation. Thank you all so much. I think I managed to not stumble at all through that one. Goodness gracious.
That was amazing, Matt. That actually looked like you meant it. To be that way.
I will say I'm saddened by the fact that there were no triceratopses in the service.
That's right.
You can't win them all. You
But
can't.
it's a whiskey. That's nice. I like it.
Different notes, and we don't have to go to 60. We can go to 110, 140.
Yeah, so we, like Jason said, we don't have kind of a final deck. We've already done announcements and stuff like that, but we, do have like the final request of like making sure you're connected with us. So there are things that you can do. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in here, Jason, but you can connect with us on Meetup. That's obviously how you met with us here today. We are on YouTube. This may or may not be posted. This was kind of fun. So maybe it'd be a cool way for people to get a taste for what this is. We'll see how it turned out in the recording. And then of course there's Orlando Designer Slack that we mentioned. If you know anyone that's looking for a job, there's a jobs channel out there, and you can please check that out, or share job listings that you're aware of. And also connect with each of us. So if you don't mind sharing your LinkedIn, that would be awesome. I know a lot of us are already connected, so that's cool, but it would be a great way to meet up with other folks individually. And I know that I've made great friends through this event, and it's a great way to stay connected to not only what we do, but people in our communities too. With that, yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Cheers.
Happy
Happy
New Year's,
holidays,
everybody.
everybody.
Look forward to seeing you all in 2022 when we start gathering again.